Thanks to our America First policies we're putting into place, we have had $1.7 trillion of new investment in America in just the past few weeks. The combination of the election and our economic policies.
Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve. So President Trump is finally beginning to correct the economic injustices and insanities that our globalist elites have been imposing on our nation for years now. Domestic manufacturing is struggling to regain its footing here at home amid the relentless push by transnationalist globalists who prioritize profits over people. Despite Trump's monumental efforts to bring jobs back, the enormity of the globalist agenda has inflicted significant harm to our economy. And as you know, our managerial elites have been maximizing their profits by offshoring as many jobs as possible overseas, keeping wages stagnant, all the while hoarding unimaginable wealth for themselves. They've remained silent as they profited from the disenfranchisement of hardworking Americans whose livelihoods are sacrificed on the altar of greed and misguided policies that benefit the few at the expense of the many. The consequences as such have been catastrophic. Families are left struggling, communities are crumbling, and the spirit of America has been hanging in the balance. But amidst this darkness over the last 4 years, our good friend Jeff Rakowski, an expert on building wealth through real estate, has been sharing his insights that have in turn empowered countless others to reclaim their financial futures and thrive in the midst of so much economic adversity. And he's here today to share with us powerful and actionable steps that you can take right now. In fact, if you click on that link below, you could register for Jeff's upcoming 3-day challenge that promises to be a financial game changer for you and your loved ones. So Jeff, welcome. Great to see you again as always, my friend.
Dr. Steve, it's always a pleasure to be here. And one thing I just wanted to say as we begin, I had the privilege of speaking at your Golden Age Summit last week, and I said that there, but I just wanted to say it again. At the summit, we kind of reflected on the 4 years under Biden, Harris administration, and then you were thanking the people in terms of you made this happen. And one thing I said there that I also want to say here is we just want to honor you and just thank you for being that voice that guided so many of us through. You got to interact with my senior pastor, Pastor Jurgen, and you were really one of the primary voices that God used to help lead us and guide us through that crazy season. But so I just want to say thank you again. But now we're in the golden age.
Well, now we're in the golden age, man. The COVID era is way behind us, thank God.
That's
and
right.
now we're in the golden age, although we're dealing with all these tech issues, right? We're filming this just as X's, and I'm getting, 4 different cyber attacks on there. We've had a bunch of tech issues here on this channel. It's kind of crazy stuff, but they can't stop us. They might be able to impede a little bit, but they can't stop us. All right. I do want to dive in here, especially in light of your 3-day challenge coming up, which is so awesome. Everybody make sure to click on the link below to register. But we're seeing the new Trump administration securing all these amazing, massive investments in America, and American companies were taking in trillions of dollars coming into the economy from abroad. How does that approach contrast or even clash with what globalist elites have been doing over the last, say, 4 years?
For sure. It's a huge contrast, as you know. And we know with President Trump, which we're excited to have back, is an America First mentality. And we use that phrase a lot. But I want to unpack that a little bit deeper here in a moment. But first of all, like in commenting on that specific video, $1.7 trillion coming back into our country just over the last couple of weeks from businesses and some of the brightest business minds, in the world. That just doesn't happen because they think Trump is a cool guy. That happens because he is creating an environment that is going to be friendly, to entrepreneurs, to business owners that will ultimately create more jobs and for the people. But Trump is America first. Globalists are not. It's the exact opposite. So there's always been this struggle, this battle between, in my mind, it's good and evil, but putting people over profits versus putting profits over people like the global elitists have been doing. But when you think about America first, like what is the American dream, Dr. Steve? What do we always hear growing up was the American dream? It's owning a
Oh,
what?
oh yeah, owning your own home,
Oh,
man. It's your
yeah.
own piece of the pie. Yeah.
That's 100% right, and the America First mentality, I actually believe is about ownership. And let me explain what I mean by that. I
Oh,
mentioned
that's
last
cool.
week I've been reading a little bit more about Mr. John Locke, and you could probably tell me much more about him than I can tell you. But if the audience not familiar, John Locke was an English philosopher. He was known as the father of liberalism before
Yeah.
liberalism was a bad word. And
Right. Classical liberalism, as we say.
Exactly, exactly. And but many of his ideas and thoughts, really influenced our modern day government and even our founding fathers. Mr. Locke used to use a phrase, life, liberty, and property. And
Hmm.
that word property was a Latin word that basically translated into yes, real estate, yes, land, but it was larger in the sense of this natural rights that included
Hmm.
ownership. And when Thomas Jefferson penned the Declaration of Independence, he actually considered those words and he went with life, liberty, and as we know, the pursuit of happiness. Now, he didn't say, oh, I'm going to leave property out and replace it for happiness. Basically, when he looked at that word, when he looked at that definition, he understood that really true happiness actually comes from financial independence, which is a certain level of it is necessary for personal and political freedom.
Yes.
So that
Yes.
America First mentality, I believe, is owning, becoming self-sufficient, not having to depend on government, not having to depend on family and friends. And we saw under the Biden administration, every single year, the percent of people owning their home versus renting, we've seen the ownership decreasing. And
Yeah.
that is not a healthy thing. So
Yeah.
really, President Trump is bringing back that American first mentality, bringing in his economic plan that ultimately is going to, benefit many businesses, which will also benefit the people. And, over time, I mean, I'm really excited about what's to come.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. I mean, it is that sort of that WEF sort of thing. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy, right? You're just
Right,
accumulating all
right.
this power and wealth and ownership into the hands of fewer and fewer people. And I believe that scholars call it a global division of labor, where
Mm.
they ship manufacturing and industrial jobs overseas, all the while the powerful elites hoard wealth, and leaving particularly our rural areas highly unemployed. Do you think that's what's driving sort of the economic chaos over the past 4 years?
It's a huge piece of it. And like you said, I mean, the whole idea is, own nothing and be happy. That means somebody's going to own everything.
Yeah.
And that's the global elitists, as we know, that small group. But so that was the leadership mentality. That was the philosophy. And as a leader goes, so goes the country. As a leader goes, so goes a family, so goes a business. But it was many of the policies that were put in place and were spun off of that philosophy that are also to blame. I mean, right now, I mean, we know home prices and real estate has gone up dramatically, especially over the last 4 years. But many people don't realize 25% of the cost of building a home right now is basically just unnecessary regulations
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
were put in place because of that
Mhm.
philosophy. But the biggest issue we have right now with real estate in the United States of America is we have a simple supply and demand issue.
Mhm.
And we're short about 3.7 million homes for the demand. And I love what President Trump is doing, some of the things that he's installing. Interest rates are going to come down. We will see that in the latter half of the year. But what many people don't realize is when interest rates come down, actually home prices will go up a little bit
Mm,
more because now, the cost of money is a little bit cheaper.
it's cheaper. Yeah.
So we have to understand, though, when President Trump took office and inherited the mess that Biden Harris left for him, it didn't, we didn't get into that situation overnight. And President Trump's not going to be able to change it overnight, but he's making moves and he's installing policies that, we're really going to see, probably about 2, 3, even 4 years down the road. Hopefully, 4 years after, President Trump, his time is up. Hopefully, it's not a Democrat in there. I'm pulling for Mr. J.D. Vance. That's
Oh
he's
yeah, big
my
time,
vote.
man.
But
Yeah.
whoever takes office is really going to benefit from this American first mentality and the specific things that Trump is doing in the economy. He's really
Yeah.
deregulating. He's deregulating. He's looking to reduce the cost of money, and he's looking to really tame inflation, and he's going to do it. But those three things alone will really have a huge impact on real estate in the United States of America.
It's so cool. And gang, as we're chatting, make sure you click on the link below and check out Jeff's 3-day challenge he has coming up. You're going to love it. We'll talk about it in a minute, but this stuff is going to change your life. I'm curious, Jeff. I mean, I listened to you describing just all the insanity, the nonsense of the demons in Davos and all that sort of stuff. How do they get away with this for so long? I mean, if globalist policies that maximize the bottom line by promoting unemployment and serfdom here at home has been the norm these past 4 years, with particularly Rust Belt communities crumbling. I mean, how are they able to get away with this?
Yeah, it's crazy when you look back on it, but it's lack of leadership. There was, as I said a moment ago, as the leader goes, so goes the country. And the Biden-Harris administration really created this environment where just selfishness and greed and it could just thrive. I have a beautiful backyard, but if I stop taking care of it and mowing it and spraying it,
Yeah,
some rodents
right,
get
of
in there
course.
so really, and then you look at all the censorship that occurred
Yeah.
through when truth was trying to be spoken and counteract what we were hearing from the media. But really, I'd say lack of leadership, Dr. Steve, number one, and then just a corrupt media.
Yeah.
Mainstream media just literally indoctrinating, lying to the American
Yeah.
public day
24/7.
after day after day. But yeah, that's a big question. But the bottom line is, there's a new sheriff in town now,
That's
so
right.
things
That's
are
right.
about to change.
Amen. So yeah, now, but obviously it's not going to turn around overnight, right? And we still have plenty of families struggling with that. And those, if people are listening who are still like, this is going to take some time, what proactive steps can they do right now for themselves, for the next generation, for our children, our grandchildren? How can we turn this darkness into a future where they can believe in and thrive?
Yeah, well, buy real estate. I'll tell you about our challenge in a moment, and if you come to that, you apply what we teach you, it'll change your life. But I want to start with, first of all, why real estate? We talked about ownership, right? And God wants us to own. He wants us to have a level of economic freedom so we can be personally and politically free, provide for our families, provide for future generations, and even do what we are called to do while we're here on the earth. But real estate simply has created more wealth than any other asset class on planet Earth. We're approaching 30 million millionaires in the United States of America right now, and 74% of them have reached that status because of real estate. And here's
Wow.
an Yeah, 74,
74%.
which is
Wow.
staggering. But here's another
Yeah.
staggering statistic, Dr. Steve, is right now, if you rent your primary residence in the United States of America, you're at the average net worth of a renter in America is about $10,000. If you own your primary residence, your average net worth is about $400,000. Now, it gets
Wow.
now even one more step above that. If you own just one investment property, your average net worth in America is almost $800,000.
Wow.
So
Dang.
there's just a direct correlation between owning the
Yeah.
land and
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 wealth,
wealth,
wealth
that
creation. Yeah.
that is ultimately created. So at Kingdom 320, that's what we specialize in. We really believe God has given us, and I say a mission because yes, we are a business, but to me, this is how God has called me to help change this country, right? If we really want to stick it to the elites, go buy some real estate. I mean,
Yeah.
they're telling us they don't want you to own anything. That
So
right
what are
there
you
is
going to
the
do?
very
Do the
reason we need
opposite.
to,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I love it.
we need to get out there and own things. But yeah, so real estate and what most people don't understand is they think they think real estate, the barrier of entry is so high, and you have to have all this money or all this time to get started. And the exact opposite is actually true. I got started, I was 21 years old. I just got out of the US Navy. I had a few $100s in my bank account, and I learned a strategy called wholesaling, where you get paid, nice chunks of cash just for finding real estate. That
Wow.
maybe I was working a full-time job, and I would spend about 7 to 10 hours on the side doing this, and doing 1 to 2 deals a month until I was able to transition into doing it full time. But you actually don't need money to start investing in real estate. You just need to know the strategies and have somebody hold your hand a little bit and point you in the right direction. So, but I'm so excited about the upcoming challenge. Can we take a minute and talk about that?
Yeah, yeah. I was just going to say. So, I mean, it seems like so. If that's the way to go, if the way to
Yeah.
go is to become an owner and to begin to invest in real estate, and you don't even need a lot of money to do it, but you just need somebody to show you how. I take it this is where the 3 day challenge kicks in.
This is where it comes in. We've never done anything like this before, and I'm so excited. And this is, I mean, there's literally going to be thousands of people at this event, and we're doing it 3 90-minute webinars. First one on March 18th, March 20th, and March 24th. So you have a little time in between 5 p.m. Pacific time. So, and as I said, well, people across the country, but this is who can benefit from this event, Dr. Steve, is really three types of people. If anybody's listening right now and money, finances right now, maybe is a little source of stress for you. Maybe you're carrying some bad debt. We're going to teach you about good debt and how to use that to create wealth. But maybe you're carrying some bad debt. Maybe you have some car loans, some student loans. Maybe you got a little happy with credit cards, over the holidays, and you want a simple strategy where you could do it part-time without needing money and generate smaller chunks of cash on a consistent basis. That's something that we help people do over and over and over again. And typically with this strategy, I mean, don't hold me to an exact number, but what I've seen is when I say chunks of cash, usually about $10,000 to $15,000.
Wow.
And our goal is to get students, just starting doing one a month. So imagine just the impact that that can have
Wow.
in
Dang.
paying
Yeah.
down some bad debt or even replacing a job. So that's the first type of person. If money is a source of stress, the second type of person is maybe finances is not stressing you right now or keeping you up at night or anything like that. You have a good job. You have a good salary. You have a 401k, but you just wish you had a little more time freedom, to spend more time with your kids or get involved in the community, maybe run for a political office, whatever it may be. We're going to cover our passive income strategy. And this was a game changer when my mentor taught me this about 10 years ago. This is where we take people from just working for money, because we've been taught in our culture just go to school, get good grades, get a good job, save your money,
Right.
and hope you
Right.
die in retirement before your money runs out, right?
Right.
That's not how, we are meant to live. So this is
No,
where we
that's
teach
not the
people.
golden age, man. That's
That
not the
is
golden
not the
age.
golden age, right? That is not the golden age. So we're gonna really focus on how do you get money working for you. And I say money, and on these specific strategies, you do need money, but it doesn't have to be your own. And many people don't
Right.
realize there's so many
Right.
ways of financing real estate deals right
Right.
now that don't
Right.
require your own cash. Many people,
Right.
I hear it all the time. Oh, I missed the boat. We're never going to have 2% mortgages again. You could still get them right now if you
Wow.
know the strategies, right? We pull
Wow.
lists of homes that have a 2% mortgage. We make offers to assume those mortgages or buy them subject to, which is a cool strategy. So if you want to get money working for you instead of you just spending all your time working for money, be on the challenge. And then the third person is maybe you have resources, you have time, but what you're really looking to do is leave that inheritance for your children's children, like the Bible tells us, right? To really create something that's going to live beyond you and have significant impact. I'm going to share personally, just how I've been able to do that with my family and commercial real estate specifically. But I am so excited. So get to the challenge. You're talking about a 4.5 hour investment if you come to all 3 sessions. But I'm telling you, you will walk away knowing about 80% more than any local realtor, than any
Wow.
local investor. We're going to teach you really all the things we should have been taught in high school about how money
Yeah.
works and how to find properties that are right under your nose. You drive by them every day. You don't even know they're an opportunity. So obviously I could talk all day about this. I'm fired up, but
It's also March 18th, 20th, and 24th. It's the 3-day challenge, all online. Do you have a testimonial that you could share with us of
yeah,
someone
yeah, yeah.
you worked with who's just like crushing it right now?
Yeah, I would love to share. I know your team can pull it up on the screen here and I'll read it for you. But this is, as you see here, Alejandro Valencia and their beautiful, beautiful family here. And this is what they had to say. You see a picture of one of their most recent properties there on the bottom. But he said, a year of miracles. Thank you, Kingdom 320. Their Kingdom 320 family. 1 year ago, God led us on an incredible journey into real estate investing. And today, as we look back, we are overwhelmed with gratitude. Kingdom 320 has been more than just a training ground. It's been a place where we received wisdom, mentorship, and faith-filled guidance necessary to step boldly into the purpose God has for us. Listen to this, Dr. Steve. Over the past year, we have witnessed miracle after miracle, from successfully flipping 3 high-end homes in Houston, Texas, acquiring 1 rental property through that subject to strategy I mentioned a moment ago, and wholesaling another property. That's a
Wow.
strategy where you could do it without money. To summarize this journey in words, would never do justice to the roller coaster of faith, the perseverance, and the divine provision that this past year has been. None of this would have been possible without God's hand leading us. As Psalm 143:10 reminds us, teach me to do your will, for you are my God. May your good spirit lead me to level ground. And I just have the privilege, every Wednesday we celebrate in our community. We call it Wednesday. And we just look back over the last 7 days and celebrate testimonials, from students like Alejandro. But this family is just, I mean, it's just a perfect example of what we see over and over again. 1 year ago, Dr. Steve, they knew
Yeah.
nothing about real estate.
Wow.
Got in the Houston market where the average home price is almost $1 million, flipped 3 high-end properties, almost made 6-figure profits on all 3 of them, owns a
Yeah.
cash flowing rental property, and wholesale the house for, I mean, it literally just is going to change that family for
Yeah.
generations to come. And it's just education. It's just
Yeah.
education and then doing what you learn.
I love it. I was just going to say it's life changing, but not just for the doer, as it were, but for generations to come. That's the beauty, and that's the beauty of it with real estate is you
Yeah.
own that property for generations to come as well. Gang, this is absolutely amazing stuff. March 18th, 20th, and 24th, 3-day challenge with Jeff Rakowski and his team. You do not want to pass this opportunity up. Jeff has long been talking about how it is now God's will to move ownership away from the wicked and put it back into the hands of the
That's right.
righteous so they can have dominion over the world and fulfill that original dominion mandate in Genesis 1 that's been reawakened in Matthew 28 and go and make disciples of all nations. And it's just absolutely glorious stuff. So we've got a tangible path forward amidst all of this chaos where you can economically thrive. So join Jeff's 3-day challenge to learn how you can build wealth through real estate and fight against the globalists. I love what you said. If Klaus Schwab is telling you don't own anything, then by heavens, make sure you own as much as you can. Fight against the globalists who wish to hold you back. Don't wait. The link is in the description. You're going to absolutely love it. Jeff, you're the best, man. Can't wait for the 3-day challenge. It's going to be a game changer.
I'm excited, Dr. Steve. Thank you. Always an honor to come on your show. Love you. Love your community. Thanks again.
Right back at you, man. Thanks, Jeff.